I've been waiting for this for a while, ever since they first tweeted at me way back in like November or December. It is the first member of Warbotron, Warbotron 01 Airburst, or 1A Airburst, also known as Blastoff from the Combaticons. And before we get too much into him, I do want to show off the packaging, because it really is just absolutely lovely packaging. You got this nice silver slipcase on the front with the Warbotron logo right up here on top, and then like kind of shadow art there of Airburst himself, along with a background picture of the combined Warbotron and bot mode, which looks really nice. And if you've seen pictures, they've showed some combined prototype pictures with some other figures. He's massive. He's the biggest combiner that we've gotten to date, even bigger than MMC's, their Mastermind's Predaking, or Feral Rex. Feral Rex comes about to, like, his head comes about to his chest on here. A very massive combiner. So you got this nice slipcase, and then some art on the back. And it just slides up. Just slide it straight up, and underneath that, you've got some nice window box packaging for Airburst himself, again with the Warbotron logo. Airburst down on the side, the full art that was outlined on the silver sleeve. And a standard window box. All of the accessories are over here on this side of the box. And then just some kind of technical blueprinty type art on the back of the box. But really slick packaging here on Warbotron. You can see here there's some information. He is Airburst with a profile shot. He is a sergeant, and he is the martial master of the action team. Just so there's just some numbers there on 2013-01 on the side. Just some tech specs there, kind of on the side of the box. And speaking of tech specs inside the box, along with the figure and his accessories, you get a little nice plastic tech spec card with the Airburst art on it, as well as some rankings on the back. He is the Air Armed Forces of the Warbotron Sergeant Martial Master. Basically some stats, as well as the information that is on the side of the packaging. And then the Volume 1, the instruction sheet itself, the comic cover, just the line art for it on the back there. And inside there's a very manga-esque Megan the Archaeologist comic. She's riding in a Jeep that should look familiar up here on the top of the page. Which brings her to this cave. And inside, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but she ends up starting to uncover the mystery of what's going on here with this mysterious Jeep that took her to this cave. And then you have the instruction manual itself past that. It's pretty basic, very easy to follow along to get through all the various modes for Airburst. Now, Airburst himself here in Space Shuttle mode, let's go ahead and pull this back down, he's nice, he's hefty, he's big, he's brown, he's purple, he's a brownie purple. Sorry, I'm describing this up here. It's a darker purple than the lighter purple accents and the windshield. But very happy with. I love space shuttles, and so it's nice to have a nice big chunky one. Just as a quick size comparison, and I forgot his tail. I grabbed him on the way out the door. I realized, oh crap, I forgot to grab Explorer, and I did, and I forgot his tail was on the other side of the Fans Project Bruticus. But there's a quick size comparison. It's just how much bigger he is than the Warbotron, or than the Explorer from Fans Project. Just to give you an idea. For those who worry about such things, he does have landing gear here on the front, and then there's some hard, and these actually roll. There are some hard molded landing gear on the back of on his feet here in the rear of the vehicle mode. He's only got 2 thrusters in the back, unlike the standard Space Shuttle 5. Normally be a third one up here and then 2 smaller ones up here. But that's me being a NASA nerd. So yeah, there's that. And then the pistols are shown stored underneath here on the wings. You can, if you wish, move them up here and plug them into the side of the shuttle as well, if you want to store them in vehicle mode. Entirely up to you where you want those to go. But all in all, it's a nice shuttle mode. Very, like I said, very big, very hefty. Has a nice weight to it. So yeah. The wings, this joint over here on mine is a little loose, not super loose, but if you bump it, it will kind of sag a little bit. Once you get it lined up, it stays. You can shake it. It doesn't really droop at all. So yeah, oh, and another quick size comparison before we move on. Here he is with Phantom from TFC's Uranus combiner. I can't remember all the names of all these people. Phantom from Uranus, not Fireflight from Superion. And you can see their like Phantom has a slightly wider wingspan, but overall, still more mass going into Airburst over here. Just to give a quick look at how these two compare. All right, moving on along to robot mode. And the first step to robot mode is go ahead and take the guns off, which we've done. And then you come back here and you pull this assembly, the whole tail assembly off, which splits into a couple of little missile launchers. You can slide these forward to reveal a couple missile launchers for robot mode. And the fins fold down, you can attach them to the arms, but we'll get to that later on. Focus get a little bit light in there. Alright, so we got that done, and then flip up the boosters. Those are going to kind of be heel pieces here. Take the wings, fold, but these only fold one way, so fold the tips down like that. They just peg in like that. For some reason on this side, you can see there's a couple sprue marks around the figure, which are not the end of the world. None of them are glaring, and easily fixed with a little bit of sandpaper and X-Acto knife. Just trim them up and sand them down. But there are several places on the figure that do have some of these exposed screw marks. Not the end of the world, but I just figured I'd point it out. But the hinge on this side is really, really tight, so it likes to pop off. But the wings are on hinges similar to some of the TFC guys are. So fold those back, just around the little leg like that, to the back of the leg. And you grab them right here and extend the legs. And you do want to pull down all the way down until these click, which I think they may have already done. There we go. That one wasn't all the way down, but there is a clicky point down here that will lock the leg in place. There we go. Actually, go. Okay, they hadn't clicked all the way. There's a minor click and then there's a bigger click. And then you bring the feet down like this, and the toe rotates. So what was the landing gear in Space Shuttle mode now ends up as the top of the foot. And then there's room there for them to slide back a little bit and form the feet. Just like that. Come up here on top and flip the landing gear up into the chest part like that. And then on the back, you want to lift these side panels up. This whole section right here with this tab. So bring those back. This tab folds in, but it only folds into about there. If you try to push it any further than that, you will break it because that's all it's designed to go in. So don't try to fold it all the way flat. Just fold it in as far as it goes there. Like I said, it doesn't fold up flat against that piece. And then from here, split this piece and you pull it down just like here at the shoulder. Rotate that out. Close the panels up. And then flip the hands out. It helps sometimes trying to get a grip. The way they fit in there, trying to get a grip on them is a little tough, but if you come down here and just push on the bottom of this gray piece, it pops them right out, and you can get a hold of them. So again, just kind of push right there, just enough to lift it up, get your finger around the thumb there, and flip them out. Rotate them. So the port is on the side, and the purplish brown detailing here is on the front of the hand. Then rotate the wrist around so the thumb is in its proper position on top. The fingers do open here, which is nice. And when closed, he's got the I don't know if that's a standard 5mm hole, but it's close in the fist. Then you unsnap, and these pieces fold up against the body. You unsnap just this cone here. You just tab, it kind of snaps into place right there. You just kind of pop it up like that, and then bring this whole assembly down and up like that. Now here it's kind of personal preference. This is where it is on the hinge. There is a dual hinge up here, so you can push this in a little bit. Some pictures have had this hanging down. There's no place to lock it in place, but it does, because this piece right here kind of would keep it from going anywhere, but you can fold it up right up there against the back. So it's not as, and then like that, and then push this double hinge up and in, and let everything sit about as flat as it's going to. And I'd hate for anybody to cancel their pre-order because I accidentally left it down like this in the video as opposed to up like that. So yeah, but it is. There's a little bit of a backpack, but that nose cone can fold up there a little bit. If you leave it down, this can get a little closer up against the back, but there's no place for this to go. So that's probably about the best configuration with this pushed in all the way that you're going to get on that. And then up top, split the shoulders, rotate them around on this ball hinge up here, and bring him down over the arm. And there he is in robot mode. He's got some nice purple light piping in his eyes. Let's see if we can show that off here. Let's get up right up here on the camera. Because you can see if I block it, he's got, you know, very dark eyes, but the light piping really makes those eyes pop. And it really kind of gives him some life to it. It's a really neat effect, and it's not even coming across on camera as well as it is in person. Sitting back here a few feet back, and seeing the eyes, they really do pop with this kind of gorgeous, like I said, like there's just a little bit of life to them. It's really neat. Some of the better light piping I've seen lately. And then, like I said, you can take these launchers. You can have, there's a piece right here. You can flip these down, and you can have him hold them as guns. Fits into his fist like that. We fold it up. It's got the peg there, and you can attach them to the side of his arms. Give him some missile launchers. And the reason I'm doing that here is because he does also have some hand pistols that I'm going to show off. So you can attach those there. It's pretty much any port. You can attach them down to the legs if you wish. Anywhere you can find one of these ports, you can attach those in robot mode, however you want to store them. Now the pistols extend. Personally, I kind of like them as these little short pistols. The gray pieces do extend out, and the thing is that they're a little stiff to stick out. Like even when you're being careful, just the force you need to get them to this point. You can see they're supposed to snap and clip, and I bet you if you stuck like a piece of paper in there, it would latch a little better, because you can feel, like when you put it back in, you can feel right there is where it's supposed to lock. The problem is, like, the locking mechanism, while it will hold it certainly in place just fine once you get it there, when you first extend them, the amount of force you need to get it to extend all the way is way more than it exceeds how it locks there. So it really is easy to pop those off when you're doing it, unless you're being really, really careful. But they do just pop right back in, and you can feel where they lock into place. So there's a comparison of the extended pistol versus the shortened pistol. And he said, personally, I prefer them like this, but you do have the option of, oh, there we go, that one didn't pop up, of extending them. And you can hold those just like that. And again, aside from the head here, which is on a ball joint, you can look up and down and turn into the light piping. There's ball joints on these shoulder pads and a hinge, so you can get those out of the way. The shoulders have a little bit of forward and back movement due to transformation. There's a swivel there, a swivel here, and then a swivel there. So there's 3 swivels right there in the shoulder, a hinge here at the elbow, double hinge at the elbow, so you can rotate it either way. Right there. He does have a wrist swivel, and then the fingers move as I showed you. He does have a waist swivel, which is nice. This little piece gets out of the way, and I think that's mostly for arm mode, so the legs can move forward freely when he's in limb mode. But there is that flap there, waist swivel. He does have a dual hinge thighs, a thigh swivel, and then hinge knees. And you can it's kind of neat, the gearing system that's in the knee. It's not actually functional; it's just cosmetic, but it is a neat little look there. And again, you can see a few more little sprue marks. I think the most obvious ones are right here on the tip of the fist. Somebody showed a picture of those look smashed, and it's not smashed. There's just some little sprue marks there on the tip of the fist. Again, none of these are real obvious when you're playing with it, unless you're looking for them. And I only knew because there were some pictures posted on the forums to even look for them. But just to point out, in the sake of fairness, they are there. They're not detracting. They're really not major detractors, but they are present if something like that bugs you, or you want to be ready to fix something like that when it gets to you. Size-wise, and here's a much bigger difference in size. There he is with the Vans Project Explorer. You can see he's much larger there. And here he is with TFC's Phantom. And again, a lot taller, a lot more bulk overall. I don't think he's like in robot mode. He's not quite as big and bulky as one of like the Feralcons, one of like Bovis or Fortis, but he ends up being a bigger arm mode than some of the others, just by how he transforms. But he is a very nice, big, solid figure. He's not huge, but definitely small Voyagerist. Like not even in the category. Like he's more of a could be a large deluxe, and he's definitely in a roughly Voyager-sized figure. And on to limb mode, which is not. It's kind of halfway between robot mode and space shuttle mode. Go ahead and pull those off. Pull these off. Now these, in the official limb mode, the instructions have nowhere to go. Normally that would bother me, but in this case it's kind of hard because I don't know if these are going to end up attaching onto the main combined mode somewhere, maybe as part of the backpack. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe they even form part of the chest plate. I don't know. So I'm not gonna knock it for not having any place to put these. And you can store them on the arm in arm mode if you wish. But the instructions officially don't have anywhere to stick these on the arm mode. Go ahead and close up the guns. And again, you kind of start by transforming him kind of back to space shuttle mode. You flip this up around and cover his head, and they just snap together just like that. Bring this up and snap it back into place, just like that. The arms actually come up, fold up like this, and then around and down, and you fold the hands back in like this. But they sit slightly awkwardly. Not awkwardly. There we go. Yeah. You just kind of fold them back around like this onto the back of the robot here. Bring these down. Let me stand them up there. Just like this. And fold the hand in. Yeah, that's how. Sit back like that. You want to have this so this little vented piece sticks straight back from the arm. Here like this, and then this folds down at the hinge. At the hinge in the purple piece. There we go, like that. Something about that just seems wrong, but I just looked at the instructions and that's where they had it, so. I'm going to double check that just to make sure. Well, yeah, because then once you rotate this out. Okay. But yeah, you can see in the instructions. That seems awkward, and it is a little bit, but you can see in the instructions here, you fold it back so it's at the shoulder, and then down like that. I'm going to compare the picture one last time just to make sure I'm not... Oh, here we go. Rotate the shoulder like this first, and then bring it down so you can see the... Doesn't really change anything, but maybe like that. No? I think that looks better, but... Once again, I'm gonna... I feel like when I did this earlier, that fit better, but nope, that actually is how they're telling me to do it, just like that. Okay, well, I will trust their instructions. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, okay. Once that does that, that feels a little bit. I felt like I was fighting it before, and like that, it's a little bit more natural. So you rotate the legs around like this, put them together, fold the feet up like we did before, rotate the toes around. Like that, and then snap the legs together. And then you open up this little panel right here on the front, this clear plastic purple panel, translucent. And then what's nice is they actually give you a little grip. There's a little tab there to let you get your thumb under or whatever to flip the connector out. And the connector is like this little square thing with a little friction clip here. which will then... It looks like it does rotate right back up here, but with just me grabbing it right here, I don't have the force, the torque needed to twist it. But once it's plugged in, it should rotate right there at the shoulder joint. And there's the arm, more or less, as it stands. Again, you can put the guns on here, keep them attached to his legs. And you can put them on like this or like this, however you want to. Now, the fist is not included with him. I can show you a picture, again, in the instructions, I can show you a picture of the fist here. And it's a nice looking fist. It looks vaguely like a TFC fist, but it's like the connector built in, and it will snap in between the legs in much the standard way that they do. If you look here, just can you open up the legs, snap the fist in to form the arm. Now, the official instructions, as they are, show this as the arm mode. And the problem with this is, like, here's the shoulder joint, and this is essentially the elbow joint. And again, you can flip this up. That gives it a little bit more range of motion there. So the elbow joint's basically right under the shoulder joint, and there's been some talk about that. However, like some of the pictures of the prototype have had this turned around like this, where you see the thrusters here on the front, which is not the end of the world. But if you do that, one, you do expose the screws here. But you can use that lower knee joint as a secondary joint there. So you don't have to have, with the wrist down here, the forearm, you can actually get a little bit more posability out of the arm by having it turned around like that. It's entirely up to you. Again, the official way has it turned around like this, where the only joint you can bend the arm down like that, which is kind of an unnatural pose, but you can only bend it forward here at the waist. But if you turn it around, you get a little bit of extra movement out of it. And again, just to compare the size of the arms, the arm modes, go ahead and plug that back in and snap that back together. Need you come unpopped. There we go. So here's him in arm mode, and here is Phantom in arm mode. And again, without the fist, even without the fist, if you put the wrist at the exact same spot, you can see just how much larger, straighten the arms, he is from Phantom. Like this, and again, this is with the wrist joint in the exact same spot, like even with each other. He's actually much larger, much longer than Phantom. So he's going to be a big mamma jamma. And again, we've seen pictures of him being taller than Feral Rex, and Feral Rex is one of the tallest combiners. I think the tallest combiner I've got right now. So he's going to be big. He's going to be cool. But yeah, Blastoff, again, Blastoff was my favorite member of the Combaticons because he was a space shuttle. I was a big fan of the space shuttle when I was a kid. So I'm really kind of excited for this. Like, I am feeling a little bit of a combiner burnout. I feel like everybody and their mom is doing a combiner these days. And in some cases, we're getting multiple versions of various combiners. And again, we've gotten a Bruticus before with like Fans Projects upgrades, where you just got two of the figures. This guy looks like he's going to be massive and impressive. And based on Airburst, I'm looking forward to the rest of them. It's another combiner. And there's so many figures right now, or combiners I'm in, that I'm like, that are not finished, that I've got, one part of or two parts of that just aren't ready. And then there's my two favorite combiners, I think, from G1 were Defensor and Computron. And Make Toys is coming out with a Computron, and I know there's at least two Defensors being worked on right now. And that's going to be crazy. But yeah, there is Airburst from Warbotron. He's a great little version of... Well, I say little, he's big. But he's a great version of Blastoff. The color, he's a nice brown and purple. I really dig him. He's posable. Not perfect. There are some, like I said, there's a few sprue marks here and there on the figure that if it really bugs you, you're going to want to clean up, which shouldn't be that difficult to do. But just know that they are there. The backpack, again, this is how the instructions show you how to do it, and there's just no other way to fold these up. I mean, you can kind of fold it up like that, but that just sticks out even more. And like it's hard to get one because even Explorer had the giant, the whole cockpit hanging off his back. And it's not that bad. It's really just this nose cone. If this nose cone split or something, because this part you can actually get sitting fairly flat. The nose cone has a few extra places to go. But yeah, for a new company, barring all conspiracy theories about who or what these people might actually be, it's a good solid figure, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it. If nothing else, because he's going to be huge. But yeah, Blastoff is my favorite member of the Combaticons. I feel like they did him justice here, and I'm quite happy to have this to check out. So there is Airburst from Warbotron, the first of their Bruticus. And it looks like they've got a Menasor planned for their second one, and then a mystery one for their third. So we'll see how that all comes about, but a very good freshman effort here from Warbotron.